Hi, and welcome to By the Stats, episode number 3. Today we're talking about the 2014-2015 NFL Week 1 of playoffs. Technically Week 18. So, on Saturday we got Cardinals-Panthers. I'm going to go with Ryan first. What do you think?
Two teams that rely on their defense a lot. Probably the Cardinals a little more because their quarterback situation is absolutely awful. But this one is really hard. I want to go Cardinals.
Don't focus on the record right now.
I know the records are out the window right now. Actually, the Panthers are playing pretty decently, but I can't throw it completely out the window because the Panthers just aren't that great. I mean, I'm not saying like
the Cardinals don't have a quarterback. They can't
Lindley,
score.
Lindley played a little better last week, though.
Yeah, they did. They did play a little bit better against the Niners.
Their defense is always going to show up, and Carolina's offense hasn't exactly been stellar this year until this fucking explosion happened last week.
But they can score points, and the Cardinals' defense, as good as they are, cannot.
Well, you thought that last
Panthers
year that they could score points, and San Fran came in there to shut them down. NFC West team too, same division.
Wait,
same situation. The Panthers last year in the playoffs played at home versus the Niners. Same division, same style of team, very physical defensive team. Shut them down.
I know, but now this is home playoff game. They're gonna have the home crowd. It's a totally different
Their pass rush
scenario.
is so much different now, though.
And the way
the Panthers, that is.
And the way that the Panthers, I know they're 7-8-1. They're not really supposed to be in the playoffs, but they won their division, so they're in. They're hosting a game. And with all that going on, and the Cardinals not being able to score, because Lindley is not going to go toe-to-toe with Cam Newton. And the way that Cam Newton's
He might not have to because his defense is good. He might not have to out-duel Cam Newton. One thing that worries me about the Cardinals, though, is that they're so inconsistent at running the ball. And when they are at their best running the ball, it's like middle of the pack.
So you're basically saying the Cardinals' defense will have to do every single thing to win this game.
That's what they've been doing all year, and they're used to it.
Not lately.
And they're used to it.
Not lately.
Well, I mean, the Seahawks game, Lindley was just so bad. He took him out of that game entirely. He was horrible.
So, are you picking the Cardinals? Do you think the Cardinals are going to win this game?
I'm going to take the Cardinals.
What do you think? This is low scoring? Like a 9-6, 6-3?
I have a feeling the Panthers might score a little bit, but not enough. I want to take the Cardinals.
And it's not like
I'm going to take the Cardinals, but my score, I'm so fed, because I think the Cardinals are going to win, but if I think they're going to win, they're going to have to score, in my mind, I think 23. I want to pick the Cardinals again, but I don't know if they're going to get to 23. My score is conflicting. Did
you say 23?
Yes, I think 23-20 would be my score pick. Because I think the Panthers are going to move the ball decently against...
You know Lindley just completed his first touchdown pass this last week.
They scored 17 against the Niners, at the Niners in Harbaugh's last game. It's not easy.
I know, but the Niners haven't been that great this year either. So, as good as their defense has been, they haven't been that great. But the way that the Panthers' defense has showed up, I know how bad they've been, but the way they've shown up this past month to win, I think, 4 games in a row, they've shut teams down, second in the league behind the Seahawks this past month.
I just think the Cardinals are going to out-physical them.
So, Freddie, what do you have as a final score for that game?
This is going to be pretty low scoring. I got...
9-6?
No, not 9-6. As much as I think it'll be 9-6, I don't think it'll be 9-6. I got 17-13 Panthers.
Game 2 of that Saturday, you have the Ravens at Steelers, I believe. Yep, Ravens-Steelers.
The game that saved the Bengals postseason happened last week. Not having to play the Ravens in the first round. We were talking about this yesterday. Having to beat a team 3 times and having swept the Ravens.
Yes, it's one thing to do it.
If this was the Bengals, I'd be picking the Ravens. But I think the Steelers at they had the second game this year at home, right? When they played the Ravens in the second game at home. I think the Steelers are a little bit on a roll now on offense, so I think the Steelers might just be too much for the Ravens.
Yeah.
The Ravens are too up and down for me to say that
they're too inconsistent. You don't know which Ravens team.
I'm not saying they can't win this game
because this game is end up going to be probably one of the best games of the weekend because it's the Ravens and Steelers. And
this game is an easier pick than the first one we just did, though.
Yes.
I feel much more solidly about the Steelers.
I'm more confident that the Steelers will win this game than the Ravens because the Steelers' offense is just so high-powered. And Le'Veon Bell and Roethlisberger.
However, if Roethlisberger's offensive line shits the bed, they're going to be in trouble. A lot of trouble.
I know.
Because that's the one thing the Ravens do consistently, is rush the passer.
I'm looking this game to be like a 3-point game, field goal at the end to win it.
I feel like both offenses are actually going to push each other. I don't think the Steelers have a great defense. I mean,
no, the Steelers don't have a great defense.
It doesn't take a genius to see that their defense is.
I know, but the Ravens don't really have.
This could turn into a shootout, but
the Ravens really don't have an offense.
So I'll give the defenses a little bit of a rise. I'll take Steelers 27-20.
I'll go 20-17 Steelers.
Sunday, you have Bengals versus Colts.
Like I said last week, the game that saved the Bengals' postseason
was losing to the
Steelers.
As funny
getting
as that sounds.
Play an overrated Colts team that is not very physical on the defensive side of the ball. They have proven time and again against good teams that they will get run all over, and that could happen again. I'm not going to say a massacre of sorts with like the yards piling up on the ground. But I think the Bengals' ground game will dominate and decide this game.
I don't think you've learned your lesson with this team.
What, the Bengals?
Yes. Come on, man. We are talking about Andrew Luck here.
Listen,
we are talking about the playoffs, and what have the Bengals done consistently these past 3 years when they've reached the playoffs?
They've lost.
It's not just losing, because if you compete and you lose, it's, oh, they lost at the end, they competed. But what happened to Andy Dalton when he showed up in the playoff game 3 years in a row?
But that's the thing I'm talking about. It's not going to have to be on Andy Dalton. The Colts' rush defense
is bad.
Be soft.
It's bad.
I don't think it might not statistically be ranked that bad, but the eye test.
They're vulnerable.
Yes,
they're very, very, very vulnerable.
The Patriots game, they're like already like, oh, we're a different team this year. We could take the Patriots, and they come in there with a third-string running back off a practice squad and steamrolled them.
Oh, I know. I
don't want to pick against Andrew Luck at home.
That's the thing.
But that team has holes that are like they're a good team, but some of their holes that aren't necessarily big holes, they can glare up at times, like just become horrible. Like sometimes their offensive line protection is just putrid, and sometimes their rush defense can't stop a nosebleed. And I think Cincinnati is just going to be so desperate to get that win. I think it'll finally happen for them.
I think this game will be close. In this game, it looks like it's going to be a shootout. That's just how Andrew Luck's games work.
Well, I think Colts games tend to be more of a shootout if they're playing from behind. If they're ahead, that's when they try to establish the run, which is another reason.
They can't run.
Yeah.
They can't run the ball
Colts,
whatsoever.
when they're not taking the foot off the gas, but trying to establish a more balanced offense, that's when they get into the lower scoring games, like maybe like a 24-20 or like a 20-14 game is when they try to establish their run.
Well, if you're talking about how the Bengals are just going to dominate in the run game, if they dominate, let's say...
They could just dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides.
Okay, they dominate most of the game. Who do you think the Colts are going to count on to bring them back into the game, to bring them back and score touchdown after touchdown
Look, but that's also another thing. That's what I was referring to, the holes. If Bengals defense, as bad as they are as pass rushing, I heard that they weren't that great.
They have some...
If they pin their ears back and they can just drop their
No, the
passing,
Bengals have
good.
Some pass rushers.
I think I heard a stat they were like worst in the league with like the amount of sacks.
Statistically, but they do have pass rushers that from time to time they will make a play where you're like, wow, that's really good. If they
Well, the Bengals are clearly
trust the Bengals more.
Team. They're the more balanced team. They are. I'm sorry.
They kind of look like the better team. I'm just gonna.
You're taking Luck at home.
I'm taking Luck at home in the playoffs.
I'm gonna take Bengals 28, Colts 20. Oh man, it's hard. 24.
I got this pretty high. I got 35-31 Colts.
And the last game this weekend would be Lions-Cowboys.
Please.
No.
Mr. Cowboy himself.
You need to go first, because I got to come up with my comeback. So, you go first.
I literally cannot pick this game. This one is like impossible for me because as great a season as the Cowboys had, we're all waiting for. Hold on.
Let me just
you
remind
were gonna let me go first. Let me finish, please.
Just let me finish. Just let me finish this one little thing.
Okay.
Dominican Sue has just been suspended for this game, so the Lions do not have their best pass rusher.
Yes.
I'm just throwing that in there.
Okay.
I'm just throwing that in there.
He's also a ridiculous run stuffer, but anyway, Cowboys have had a great season, but I guarantee you, even Cowboys fans are waiting, like, are we actually this good, or are we just playing out of our minds? Like, I feel like some Cowboys fans are waiting around for their team to actually play, like, maybe to more to what their expectations were, and the Lions are no joke, but man, this is hard. The Cowboys...
No, say it. Say it.
I'm trying to...
You're waiting for the other shoe to fall, and you want the real Cowboys to show up.
But listen.
Every hater and every
real Cowboys
fan has been waiting for it. They're waiting for the other shoe to fall and waiting for the real team to show up.
But listen, the real team that I'm thinking about is not a bad team. They're just 8-8. That's what I'm expecting.
So
that's what I think they could turn out. But
so right now, they're fool's gold, is what you're saying. They're an average team playing way beyond what they can really play.
Their defense
is being, yes, they are vulnerable, but
that's the thing.
What's helping them is the
What's helping them?
The running game, time of possession.
Yes.
That's what it keeps them off the field, gives them less minutes, and you see when they have less time on the field, they make plays on defense. You see it in every game that they play in.
Yes.
Including the game against the Seahawks.
That's what I was going to say.
You keep them off the field.
Their offense is not 8-8 caliber. Their offense
is what makes them. Yes. They're like second or third in the league.
So I'm starting to teeter as I'm thinking of their offense. If their offense can run the ball, which they have, I know the Lions have a good defense, and they're going to limit it somewhat. I'm going to say if the Cowboys can run for at least 110, they're going to win the game. And do I think they can do that? Yes. I'm going to take Cowboys 20-10.
So you are...
I'm picking the Cowboys because of Stafford's inconsistencies, the damage that Sue does by not being out there, and the Cowboys are due for something at home. They can't let another opportunity at home just go by the wayside.
Well, this is so... I haven't, got to feel this playoff atmosphere for 5 years now. So this is important game as ever.
Oh, don't complain.
What do you mean, oh, don't complain?
6 years. And last time we were in the playoffs, we got our ass kicked.
Yeah, I tried to tell you guys, but you kept shoving it down my face how much better your team was than ours. That's your fault. That's you guys talking shit.
So
anyway,
the final score.
I'm gonna go because I'm pretty sure Stafford and Calvin Johnson can put up some points in this game. I'll go 28-24. My team, Cowboys.
Wow. I could see them putting up points, but I think just being at home in that playoff game is going to help Dallas's defense possibly rise to the occasion.
They make plays.
Dallas is either going to win by a couple possessions or lose by probably a similar margin. This is not going to... I don't think it's going to be a one-possession game either way. At the end of it. It's going to be a good game, but at the end, I think the score will not be in doubt.
What score did you pick?
I said 20-10.
2010?
This could be like, what I'm saying is like Cowboys have ball out in Lions territory.
I wouldn't mind that score.
With like a minute left and they kick a field goal to put the game away, something like that.
We win by 10? I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that score. If that were to happen.
Well, we actually agreed on one. 2, actually.
So that's all 4 games for this weekend. Hopefully next week we can get in the next one. If If you guys have any opinions, leave a comment down below, like the video, and subscribe.